Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to 2024. We have one half of the Writers of Rohan represented right now, with more possibly on the way. Welcome back, Matthew and Luke. It's a whole new year.
It is a whole new year. Good to see you two.
Aye, same.
I'm guessing
Too long.
the other writers of Rohan will be charging in like the Rohirrim in Two Towers.
We hope so.
Ah, where's the beacons?
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh yeah, there he is.
hey,
Has-
The
Sean.
devil and he shall appear.
Yes, that's how you summon me. Summon me when I don't know about it.
He came in at first light on the third day.
Look to the east.
Which was east.
Oh, wait, from my perspective, anyway.
Hello, sorry. I'm late.
Yeah, so a lot
Kinda like
has
whatever.
changed since. Yes, it's good to be here. I know DM's not going to be with us today, but I've got DM's links in the description box for people who want to go and check in on what she has going on with all her bookish things. There's been so much change since last summer when you guys were on. Sean is published. Yay, Sean!
I can actually
I
plug
will
stuff
read that,
this
I
time, guys.
swear.
I'm so excited.
Not only that, but Sean, you got a pretty killer newsletter going, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's true. I can also plug that. Hooray!
It's more than I've got at the minute.
I know I can't handle doing a newsletter, so props to you, Sean.
That makes it easy. I just write words and press the publish button.
If only it was that easy where I am.
You know, I think newsletters seemed so easy for like the first year and a half. And then I was like, I'm running out of ideas.
Oh yeah, I'm at that job where I'm like, what do I talk about this week?
Yeah.
Yes. So go grab Sean's newsletter while Sean has the great ideas. It's the short story. But Sean, does it feel weird coming back and now being an author like published, or does it not feel any different at all?
Not that different. I mean, I was talking to someone about this earlier in the week that like I put this story out, but ultimately like if no one read it and I was just writing it for myself, I'd be okay. So it's like this weird thing where other people can read it, but I'm not going to be bothered by like the idea of publication for this particular story. It was just one I needed to tell myself, kind of to
Fair
give
enough.
those characters that I've had for so long that absolution. So really, and my wife, like who's been like reading it here and there, she's like, there's so many things that like so many people aren't going to get because they don't know you at all. That's why this is a story for me, written by me.
Fair enough.
Yes. And
I
so
understand that.
Yeah,
Sean's
it
got
is
a-
cool to be able to come back and when you guys talk about your books, I can be like, I have one too, but it's not.
Sean, you have books. We've read like a lot of
This
your work,
is-
so it's like you have them.
just the public is waiting for them. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
One more question in the spotlight for you, Sean, and then we'll move on to all the other great stuff because Matthew and Luke, I know you've got great stuff too. Tell everybody who hasn't heard about your book yet what kind of book you wrote.
Sure. So, normally we come on and we talk about our super duper awesome magic-y, dak-jiggy fantasies. And this one's very much not that. It's a cozy fantasy set after all the cool stuff that we write about, where they just chill out in the suburbs and then shenanigans happen. Like, it's basically like I was like, what happened? Like, because being on like Bookstagram, you see young adult stuff all the time, and like I was like, well, everyone writes the happily ever after, but like, what happens during the happily ever after? So that's what this book is.
Taxes.
Dealing with the HOA.
A fantasy
Don't have a
HOA.
happy marriage. Marital problem.
Exactly.
Your shrubbery is unshapely.
Exactly. Where you're like, I'm late to work. I could just teleport, but I'm trying to be normal.
That is a fantastic concept, Sean. Like there's not enough of this because I must have been in like elementary school or middle school, but I read it was like the weird follow up to the Princess and the Frog or something, where it's like, how did the frog acclimate to being a prince, and he was miserable.
Spend so long sitting on a lily pad eating flies, you get used to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's like, "That's boring. I got to deal with people." Before it was just me and my.
Yeah. So the fact that it's after the big fantasy adventure, I love stories like that.
Yeah, it also kind of makes it easy to not have to worry about like, world building on all that, because I'm like, they dealt with that already. You don't have to worry about it. They're not going to sweat it. Let's focus on these guys. What are these guys up to?
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of what the others are up to, Luke, you got your cover reveal out for the girl who sings the dragons.
Oh, good.
Oh yes. I'll say it's been a hectic couple of years with that. Let's say this. I'm going to get this book out this year if it kills me, which it probably will.
No.
No, we need you alive for other books.
But I can't die just yet. I'm not Robert Jordan. I'm not famous enough to take over.
And you're not being spiteful like George R. R. Martin.
Yes. But no, all joking aside, I'll say I've finished. I'll say where we are with the Girl Six Dragon moment. I've just finished applying it's been proofread. I've spent most of this week applying like the proofreader edits to it. So come March the 1st, my aim is to get it formatted. I'm outsourcing that because just even thinking about doing that by myself makes my head bleed.
Yeah.
So hopefully that should be done by mid-March, end of March. And then I've got a month to kind of figure out how to get it all set up on KDP, because I'm aiming for a 1st of May release date. So whether or not that has to be pushed back is another thing. But all being well, it should be release day should be May the 1st.
Oh, and I know what I'll be doing in May.
Yeah. What a great way to kick off the summer.
But like I say, either I do have to push it back one way or another. I'm getting this book out this year if it kills me, because it was meant to be published last year, but then you know how it is. Real life circumstances will always interfere when you least expect it or you least want them to.
Yeah. So for those who are tuning in, because we have had so many new subscribers join since last summer when you guys were here, this is a whole new series for you. This isn't part of Argent Blade or From the Ashes, or is it like crossover with the world at all?
There's a little crossover between the world of the Phoenix Saga and the world of the Winged Wolf Saga. Kind of the events of the idea I had is basically events of one influence the events of the other. Mm-hmm. It's a little hard to explain at this moment because I haven't quite ironed out all the kinks myself, but there is a connection between those two worlds. Mm-hmm. Originally, when I started writing the Winged Wolf Saga, it was the initial idea behind it was, let's say, creating a more like medieval fantasy setting, because obviously it didn't start out that way, but during the rewrites of From the Ashes, I ended up incorporating more of the ancient worlds than the medieval world as also the inspiration for the world building. So now with the Winged Wolf Saga, it's about using cultures and historical periods that wouldn't really fit into the world of the Phoenix Saga as inspiration for the setting, the characters, the organizations, the flora and fauna that people encounter within the story when it's finally released.
Yes. Well, I am super, super, super excited. If you're watching on YouTube and you go over to my community tab, the link to the cover reveal is there, so you can see the cover.
So
we've been teased with this for 4 or 5 years now, Luke, yes. So we're ready.
It's not been that long. I lie. No, you're right. I started writing this. I think it was it. Well, the original idea I think came to me in 2021, and it's taken this long.
It was early days of the writer community.
Yeah, I know you've teased the future of like how not even just the characters but the series and setting will go, and I'm like, we gotta get book 1 so we can get books 2, 3, 4.
Hopefully you shouldn't be waiting much longer for book 1, because I've finished, as I don't know if you saw, I finished the first draft of book 2 on New Year's Day. I went on New Year's Eve. I was working like a bat out of hell that day trying to get it finished.
Nice.
Just to say I've done it, just to have done it for myself, and then obviously 1st of January 2024, I take a brief break, and then obviously at the moment it's kind of a bit on hiatus because obviously I'm prioritizing trying to iron out everything to get the Girl Who Sings Dragons out there, but I'm about a quarter of the way through the second draft, so
Yay!
There you go.
Yeah, so some bits are coming easier than others. I think there are going to be some big chunks in book 2 that are going to have to be heavily reworked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I feel like watching this today, as opposed to where we were like this time last year. This is like how everybody got their groove back.
Kind of.
Ooh.
Honestly. Yeah.
Gosh. Last winter was rough.
It was not a good year.
Because this time last year, I think we'd come on right around the time my son was born. So I was like falling out of the cave, like, everything okay still, everybody?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I think that's such a good thing about doing these is because you can go back and be like, this is the raw, real truth of being indie. You're going to have ups, and then you're going to have really bad downs, and then you're going to have ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we had done this like 2 months ago, like I would have been just like the burned out nature would have been full force.
I can understand that. I mean, I'm still like say every so often at the moment I still teeter on the verge of the panic that something's going to go wrong with this, but you caught me on a good day.
So Matthew, you have had so many good things since last year. You've got book 2 come out since last year. I'm trying to think now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it's
you
all
were
good.
promoting Imperium last time we were talking, I think.
Yep. So last time we were on, Imperium was about to be released, I think, but it's now out. Submitted it for the Book Fest, and it got 3rd place for science fiction and thriller.
Congratulations!
Thank you, appreciate it. Again, can't thank you enough, Katherine, for doing the copy edits on it. Again, fantastic job.
My pleasure.
And now, I think I had mentioned this time last year because this is when I got the idea. Because I'm currently, I keep saying I'm almost done with the first draft, but I keep adding more, and I need to stop.
I know that feeling.
This is terrible. Like I'm like, I'm almost like finished reworking my Maven Knight prequel story, The Hold of Destiny. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I need to add another scene. I'm like, no, stop it. Do it in the second draft.
Not yet. Wait.
Yeah, not yet. So I am about I'm going to say 80% done with the first draft of Hold of Destiny.
Oh,
look forward
so
to it.
Great. And so Matthew writes sci-fi with like heist built in and adventure built in, like space opera a little bit built in.
Yep, I try and throw in a dash of all kinds of genres just to spice it up a little bit because we can't just do the same thing all the time, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's the case with the Winged Wolf saga. I'm adding a greater element of romance into this than I do with I've done with my previous work. So as part of being a writer, we like to branch out and try new things.
Yep. I finished my cozy fantasy, and now I'm mapping out a super duper horror adjacent dark fantasy.
Oh, nice!
Wing that pendulum.
Hell yes!
Welcome to the dark side.
This one has been very different because I'm having to do a lot of hard work of humanizing a very bad person.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So that is a very distinct challenge, and it's funny you say you're delving into horror, Sean, because that's a subgenre I want to do for the next Outrider Saga book. It's a little element of horror.
Is that going to be the third novel, or is that like a novella set in the
the third novel for Edict, book 3 of the Outrider Saga, which is in outline phase, but I've had the idea of adding a different subgenre to each one. So like Imperium was thriller. Edict, I've got an idea, and I think kind of more akin to what you do, Luke, which is like the body horror, like creature horror kind of spectacle.
I mean that, and especially for sci-fi, like the setting you have. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So we're moving away from Star. So it sounds like with Edict, we're moving away from Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy, and more into Warhammer 40,000 territory.
That or like the Expanse too. Like
the Expanse and the Expanse and Halo are probably going to be the bigger. Because I don't know anything about Warhammer.
So I have to go with 40k for like really dark Sci-fi.
Oh my goodness. So, we mentioned George R. R. Martin earlier. It's like I wouldn't half mind if Luke wanted to like write a video game in the time we're not getting Urgent Blade.
I do want to finish that series. I kind of got, like I say, the Winged Wolf Saga kind of devoured all my time these last years. I do want to finish that series.
Yeah, so do we. We want you to finish. Hurry up.
Yeah. We need the ending.
I've got the ideas. I've got bits and pieces jotted down. Because my idea with Argent Blade was basically I've got the workings of two novellas to kind of bridge the gap between the second and the third book. And then obviously the third book itself to kind of wrap the whole story up.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand where Luke's coming from, because that's kind of what happened last year, where it's like, oh, on the Outrider Saga train, but then, oh, this great idea just came up, and now I just have to write that first.
Yep, I can understand that. I mean, I think my goal at the moment, I think, is to try and, publish The Girl Who Sings Dragons, fix up the Wolf and the Swan. Once the Wolf and the Swan's done, I might focus. I've got 3 novellas, the 2 Argent Blade ones. I kind of have an idea for a prequel novella for the Winged Wolf Saga, the Raven's Gift. So it's just an idea. I've been jotting down. I've gone back to Stone Age tech. I've been jotting down the Raven's Gift by hand at work, just to make it even more challenging. So,
dedicated man.
We're showing our age here.
For Christmas, and like I say, it was too good not to use.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you got a pretty one that you can actually write in?
Oh yeah.
What triggering this?
that makes all the difference of like what makes us want to write in those notebooks. Is like it's gotta look pretty.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, very nice.
Too good not to use. I didn't want to use it for just jotting notes down in. So one day I start writing down a few storylines. The next thing you know, I'm writing the first draft in it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's dedication, there, Mr. Courtney.
Yeah, I know Roger Sandry, who wrote Den of Stone. He writes everything first draft, and I don't know if you guys have seen his word counts. They're like 200,000 plus, and I'm like, how thick of first drafts does he have? That's dedication.
How sore is his carpal tunnel?
I don't know.
It's dedication or masochism, one or the other.
Hey, listen, it could be both.
It works for him. Well, we wouldn't do this otherwise, would we?
Yeah.
None of us would.
No. So one of the questions I had for you guys specifically, being one of the longest running panels of authors on the entire channel, if not the longest running one, is over the past few years, I have seen the churn of indie authors so high. And I was looking through Instagram the other day going, man, I miss this person. Man, I miss their books. Man, I miss them. What has kept you guys going? Has it been the community between the 4 of you that's really pushed you to not walk away?
Ooh.
Dedication, masochism.
Yeah, I was just going to say sheer bloody-minded spite. I'm too stubborn to give up.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't stop.
Yeah,
party don't stop.
Like it just.
Yeah, I think it's just because I've been doing this for so long. I don't think I could stop even if I wanted to. Because even on days off, I get ideas like percolating in my head. So I honestly don't think I could stop even if I wanted to. I mean, I remember when things got really bad last year. I swore to myself I was going to walk away from this, but then within about 2 weeks, I was back at it.
I feel that, and I think that's where the community comes into play, though. It's like whenever we're feeling burnt out, we have that support system. That's
been a great help at times when I've been having really bad, shall we say, anxiety about what's because this is all obviously with the Girl Who Sings Dragons, I'm doing it all by myself as opposed to going through. I've learned my lesson about, shall we say, vanity publishing. Like I say, it's all been a massive learning curve, and obviously, sometimes it does feel a bit overwhelming, particularly when you're learning new terms or new processes for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
KDP, Luke, it's waiting for you.
I know.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm going to need it. Like I say, all being well, like I say, formatting hopefully should be done by the end of March, and then I can upload to and then I can upload to KDP and then sort out all the kinks of that, and then hopefully have it all good to go for the 1st of May. I do. If any of you had that interruption, I do apologize. That was my other half's uncle.
Yeah.
So you'll
Yeah.
be.
No. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, it's like, I'm asking on behalf of all of us who are going to want a copy of this. You're going to be sending out ARC copies soon, then, right?
Eventually, yes. That's one thing. Also, once I've got the format done and I've sorted all that out, that's going to be obviously another thing. ARC readers. I'll do a proper post and like something formal when it's all set in stone.
Sure. Well, sign me up. I'm ready to go.
Yep. I'm ready for the arc. On that subject of just like us kind of building each other up, I think we also generate ideas for each other. Like I'll see stuff on Sean's page, on Luke's page, I'm just like, oh, that's a good prompt, I need to use that when I'm feeling like burnt out or something like that.
Likewise.
It's definitely been a great boost with the community, because last year, especially around this time, it was rough for all of us.
No argument here.
Yeah.
That was a year that kind of also really tested my commitment to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wrote, I think, the least I ever had. I also had the least amount of time I ever had, but it was, I think like Matt said, and then like what Luke has been saying, it's just like maybe with a spite to be like, no, I've got 10 seconds here. Word. I wrote. And then like just seeing everybody else continuing on, because it's so easy to see. I mean, like, you hear this all the time. Like, social media is what is the shining moment of everyone's life. You don't see the behind the scenes. So I kind of slipped into the mindset of like, well, if I'm struggling and then I'm putting out this really cool stuff, that means that all these people are in the same boat.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. Yeah, I think sometimes it is easy to kind of, I think for me at least, it's kind of like easy to get tunnel vision and forget, we are all, striving through the same problems together, even if we don't see it necessarily. Yeah. You may look at people, it's easy to look at other writers through the screen on like Instagram and think they've all got it together while you're floundering, but often, like I say, you'll find just not this, so they're having just as many issues with it, if not more than you are. You just don't see it.
Yeah, I wonder if did you guys notice this too? I feel like a lot of people last year like talked about were more upfront about their process, about like, here's how I got to like signing an agent, publishing a book, finally formatting a book. Like, I feel like a lot of people were more open about that, and it kind of made it easier to feel like everyone is at a certain different part of the process and they're all struggling through it. It's almost like last year was just rough for everybody, because you like go away for a long time and then pop up, and it wasn't even with like big news, I have a book. It was just like, I'm back. What's going on? You're like, cool, me too.
I think it was because last year was like the first full year of readaptation from quarantine and stuff like that. So all of us were still figuring out how to real life again.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah, and so Sean, I think you were querying or talking about querying when you first started coming on these panels.
Yeah.
So what shifted you into finally joining us over here on the indie side?
It was a product of, getting no responses. What a surprise. Or, getting rejections or whatever. It's the same thing. It's like, I'm pretty sure I feel like there's still one person who never responded to me. And every day I check my email, there's a part of me that's like, maybe.
There's a little bit of hope.
But
I'll direct you to a Warhammer quote. Hope is the first step on the road to disappointment.
Ain't that the truth? It was also a mix of like the story that I was writing. I was just like I like it a lot. I was tooling ideas with, I had it all planned out, and I was like, I want to back off of it and try other things, and mostly to try the other indie avenues. Like I published this book on Inkit. So a lot of people have success on Wattpad, or just publishing their own collections and different stories. So, and honestly, I kind of got lost in this other world that I was writing, and I was like, that's still there. Like that one, I've been working on it for long enough that it's like riding a bike. If I were to jump back into it, no problems. I could touch it up and probably get it back out for beta readers or querying. But it's just like trying other stories and then trying it in the indie sphere and kind of feeling it out there. And so far, I mean, the community is great. So many resources. Like if you're like, I don't want to deal with, publishing indie this way, I can publish indie that way. And you see just as many success stories as you see, hardships or whatever. Like if you go on Wattpad, advertising all these successful books that are becoming like Netflix series or like Ink It's the Same Way or whatever. So there's avenues. If you want to test the waters with the story or what have you. So I just figured I'd experiment, give it a shot.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Our
And
own.
Matthew, I think either this last time or the time before last, you might have been talking about an audiobook too. Did you end up producing the audiobook?
Unfortunately not. That was
That was a Kickstarter, wasn't it?
yeah, because trying to produce an audiobook was very expensive.
Oh, yes.
And I was doing it for my shortest book at that. For Irenaeus, it's only like 80-ish thousand words, and to produce a quality audiobook of that would have been at least $1,500 to $1,800.
Right.
Which I don't have that kind of cash.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling.
Distribution has got to be difficult too. I mean, because then you got to figure out how you're going to put it out.
Well, so the nice thing about it is it was going to be through ACX, which is basically going like directly to like Amazon's audiobook kind of stuff.
It would have been like through Audible.
Yeah, basically, yeah, through Audible. I mean, I went through a lot of great narrators, so I have an idea of who to like. If any of y'all want to get your stuff adapted, I know a lot of great audiobook narrators now.
I'll bear that in mind. I'll bear that in mind because I do have high hopes for the Wing Whistle. So maybe not immediately, but down the line, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around getting it out as a digital and a paper book. So audio books.
Yeah, that was my priority too, which was it would have been nice to get Irenaeus as an audiobook, but then the focus just became, hey, I need to just start working on my next book. If I am going to do an audiobook adaptation now, it'll just be The Maven Knight.
Yeah.
Sick. I mean, that book's not, the first one's not even, I mean, it's long, but it's not, The Way of Kings.
Yeah. And I know some of the audiobook narrators that audition do male and female voices. So for different perspectives or different characters, they'll do different voices.
That'd be perfect for Raven Knight.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, as someone who loves to read your books, I selfishly am thankful that we get more books while we're waiting. Although I would say, Luke, if you self-narrated your own book, I would happily listen to it, because I think the whole reason I ever started following Luke was just scrolling through Instagram and being like, oh, there's a live read, and author's doing a live read, and then I heard Luke reading From the Ashes, and I was like, I must have this book.
I think I would say with this new one, if I do go down that route, I'm probably going to want, like I say, with certain characters, I'm going to want, female characters who sound like they're narrated by women and vice versa.
Yeah,
From the content in book 2.
Looking ahead to 2024, we've had some exciting ends to 2023, a good, strong start to the new year. What is coming from you guys that you haven't sort of already talked about? I know, Luke, we've got The Girl Who Sings the Dragons heading out in May, and then a bazillion other projects you could be working on. But what should readers who are watching be looking for in the new year?
I think obviously the main priority, I say, is to getting The Girl Who Sings the Dragons out. After that, work like a bat out of hell to fixing up the second book, because I say it's been a while since I think my last book was published back in 2021. So obviously there's been a bit of a gap. Obviously there's no rush, but I'll say I'm just feeling, I don't know if it's self-imposed or if it is real. I say I feel a bit of pressure. I say to keep the momentum going.
You're feeling the itch.
That too, and I'm also about that and my age as well. So
I was just trying to figure out when Plague Carrier came out. I was like,
it was 2021.
Halloween 2021.
Yeah,
because I remember beta reading it in January of 21, and then being like, "When's the actual copy?" Like,
I can't believe it's already been 3 years. So
I need to get another book out. I mean, like I say, I feel like I've been slacking off.
They're worth waiting for. Good books are worth waiting for.
Yes.
Don't take that as an excuse to draw out our agony any longer, George R. Martin.
Yeah, don't take 10 years, Luke.
No.
They're trying aim to have the Wolf and the Swan 2025, 2026, possibly if I have the time with the Raven's Gift along with it.
No, I would say, George R. Martin, if you're somehow watching this, don't use this as an excuse to make us wait any longer.
He will.
I will still have books published before him.
Just do what Brandon Sanderson does and give a super detailed outline of every single book you're ever going to publish, so we can expect that in 10 years we're going to get the next book.
Wow.
And then subsequently release 4 secret novels.
Yeah, then do 4 more in 1 year.
Lord.
Oh goodness. I feel like, some writers, the writing is just as easy peasy
Yeah.
to them. And for me,
it
that's
var-
not like that. I can't write.
Like, it
churn
varies
out
from person to person, because obviously we also have, I don't know about you, but like I say, I work a 40-hour week, so obviously I've got to balance the writing with that. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Weekends are writing.
So how about you, Matthew? What's coming up in 2024?
Well, so the main thing coming up is hopefully, I'm not putting a release date on it yet because I don't want to jinx myself and have a delay or anything. But hopefully, this year I will self-publish The Hold of Destiny, which is my Maven Knight prequel story. I have the cover art all done for it, so I'll hopefully be doing a cover reveal in the next couple months or so. And then I would like to have it open to beta readers at least by early May, but that's being optimistic.
I volunteer.
So y'all are gonna just beta read each other's books?
I mean, that's what we do.
We've done it before. Why break the habit of a lifetime?
Truly unofficial critique partners here.
Meanwhile, poor Sean is waiting for both, and they're both arrived at the same time.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
DM, I don't know if you're watching this, but just see what you have to look forward to.
She's knee deep in her own stuff right now.
She's got I don't know if it's a prequel, it's an interquel, but she's got the Pirate's Emerald.
I think
it's a prequel novella again.
It's the last prequel novella.
Yeah.
It's the third prequel novella. Yeah.
It's Farron and Jacobin, I want to say.
Yeah, Farron and
Jacob. I've read the Kingdom Isles, so I really should reread again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good series. Oh.
It is great.
Very fond of it. It was the first indie series I really got into. Like you, I connected. She was doing a live reading of The Lightning Bride, and I just ended up being captivated by what I was hearing. And the same with you, Matthew. I'll say you were doing. I think it was a live reading of chapter 7 of the one where they're on that prison ship that crashes in the desert.
Yeah, first Maven Knight book.
First Maven Knight.
And then Luke, you were the first indie author I read.
Oh.
Yep, Argent Blade, my first indie book.
It's a good one. Good one to start on.
It's a good start.
I will let that series out because I say, if nothing else, I've got such plans for the 3rd book. As I said before, one of the reasons I write that series is, why is it always New York that gets trashed in these kind of disasters?
Why not London?
Believe me, I say the stuff I did in the last 2 books will seem like nothing compared to what I've got planned for book 3.
Oh yeah. So Sean, brand new little human, almost over a year old now.
Oh, he's gonna be a year in May, so we're coming up.
Wow, that was quick.
All right.
You're adjusted. You've adjusted. You look well rested.
He lets us sleep sometimes. He's not teething at the moment, so that's why.
Ooh.
Oh, so yeah, you got little human, and then you've got books out now. What's coming up in 2024 for you?
The main thing that I'll be shoving in people's faces for them to be able to get into, if you sign up for my Substack plug, I've got 3 short stories I plan on publishing exclusively there. I'm noodling the idea of doing next year, assembling them and a couple other stories into some sort of short story collection anthology, because they're all in the same world, and I realized as I was writing them that they're I can tie them together thematically if there were a what's it called, the stories that start and end that oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word, a through line story where it's 2 people talking, telling each other the story. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know. I can't think of the word.
Like a bookend kind of thing. Wow, it just the word went through my brain and then left. I'm gonna say it randomly when Matt's talking again. That's the main thing I'll be putting out, and then I'll be constantly reminding people of where to find the Quiet Ever After.
I swear to God, I have I've been a bit distracted lately, but I swear to God, I will read that.
Oh, thank you. No, it's okay. And then
So
the main
many books to read at the minute.
I know. The main project I'm working on is it's like a history. It's a nonfiction book, so it's a fun little diversion away from what I'm used to. It's about the history of the Marvel character Moon Knight. His 50th anniversary is next year, and Marvel just finished putting out like a bunch of stories that haven't been reprinted since the 90s, and I love that character. So
Yeah.
I was reading a comic of his earlier last year, and I was like, I feel like I'm missing something, and then I learned about it, and I was like, this is really cool. So I'm just gonna go through and read every single Moon Knight appearance, not just comics. So if he's in a background shot of Savage #7 from 1992, hey, I gotta check it out.
That's
It'll be
dedication.
fun. It'll be a fun little project, and then I'm noodling already. I know it's only February with what I want to do for Nano this year, if I want to do it, because I've got a lot of book ideas I want to get out or
Yeah.
get written down.
I think if I do have free time, you mentioned NaNoWriMo, I may use that to try and make a bit more of a dent in the Ravens' gift.
Yeah, I might miss it this year because I've got. Oh, I just realized I've got a lot of stories I want to revise. I've got definitely one like YA dystopian book I want to revise. I think it would do well in this current like market. And I like the idea of I've when I wrote it, I was like, I'm missing something. It needs a second look, but then I got a bunch of other projects I wanted to work on.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So
too many projects.
Basically, a lot of the what became the Girl Who Sings Dragon was a lot of like old like half-finished projects that kind of end up welding together and then shaping into a cohesive whole. As I say, so many times I start a story with a werewolf protagonist, and then Argent Blade was one, From the Ashes was another. They all changed in the course of editing. So this time I swore I was going to have that in there. So like I say, I end up welding about a couple of other disparate stories together and then forming them into something new. So that's a lesson for you. Never throw away anything. You never know when
It's true. Yeah.
Throw away rubbish. Don't throw away story ideas. You never know when it's going to end. I mean, now I've got a Word document that's about like 35 pages long, or like bits that haven't like fitted in drafts, but I've kept them in case I can work them into something new or tweak them a bit later on.
Yeah.
You never know when it might come in handy.
I've got a whole trunk of notebooks under my bed. That's like where all my miscellaneous story ideas are.
This one's a bit more economical than last. About 30 notebooks gathering dust in my flat.
I was writing I was toying with this idea last year, but it never really came through. I wrote like a couple chapters for I don't know if any of y'all have read the Martian by Andy Weir.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I read Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, but not the
Martian. Okay, gotcha. But I was doing a fantasy version of the Martian, of like a paladin that gets stranded, and it was like journal style entries, and I was like, maybe one day I'll finish that.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's a Nano project for next year and this year.
You never know.
Yeah. Speaking, was it The Martian initially indie published before it went big with traditional?
I don't know.
Yes, it was. Because I think this year he's putting out a story in like dedication of that on like his own, like away from like trad people to be like, hey, I was indie too. I can.
Hey, fellow indies.
Hello, fellow. I'm Andy Weir, successful millionaire.
There's a few of them, right? We got some that are not necessarily fantasy sci-fi, but I was like, okay, yes. But there are so many good gems in indie. So if you're watching and you have never met any of these people before, or DM who is not on with us yet, then go to the description box, click on the links, give all of these people a follow, check out their books, because everybody in the group has books now.
Yes, Sean.
I did it.
So excited.
You did it.
You will all learn what ink it is because of me.
Yes. But it's so good to have you guys back on. Thanks for coming back and being transparent as always and talking about your books. This was great.
It's always good to catch up with you.
Now I'll say it's also, like you said, compared to last year, it's not perfect, but I'll say it does feel like we've turned a corner a bit.
Yeah,
absolutely. I wish you guys all the best in 2024, and maybe we'll see you guys back on sometime around the next Blitz.
All right. Hope to see you guys soon.
See you
Exactly.
Bye,
again.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.